Hello guys, in the last video of the 3D print series we took a look at this 3D printed pallet fork. This was our first print of the pallet fork and it didn't turn out that well, so we're going to try and solve those problems in this video. So when we looked at this in the last video we did identify a few problems, although from this angle it looks like the fork itself is bent too high, but that's actually a printed problem. That's not actually caused by the design, so that should resolve itself when we get the support material corrected. The problems we identified actually relate to the two mounting points. If we take the one on the left first, it's more of an issue because it's actually going to affect how the forks sit on the ground. So it's actually a little bit too high on the left, and that means when we put our link arm in there, the link arm is going to be at an angle, which means that the tip of the pallet fork can't actually get to the ground. It's going to sit a little bit too high. So all we're going to need to do to solve that is just to move that point down a little, and then that'll allow our link arm to come in nice and level, and as a result our pallet fork should lie flat on the ground, because the heights are actually okay so far. It's just that the angle of the mounting points were wrong. The next issue we identified was more of an aesthetic issue. This protrusion here just doesn't look terribly nice. We have space to move that into the frame completely, so we could get rid of that little section altogether, and I think that would improve it a lot. So we'll switch over to Fusion 360 now, and to find the step that we used to make that part, we just need to check the bar in the bottom of the screen, which will highlight the different sketches that we've done to create a part. Then we can double click on the step in the bottom bar, and that opens it up. So at this point we can see the sketch that we drew. We've kind of gone back in time to that point in the design, and we're going to drop the cylinder completely down so that the bottom of the cylinder is in line with the bottom of that protrusion. And to do that I've just changed the reference from the center of the circle to the bottom of the protrusion, so that we can just set that to the radius, and that will be those two surfaces perfectly aligned. And the next thing we want to do is remove the protrusion that's coming out of the frame. So the easiest way to do that is to just do a sketch on the face of the protrusion, just pull a rectangle, and then you can just extrude it through. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. We know from the part that we already 3D printed that the distance between the two supporting pieces was correct. So now that we've removed one of those supporting pieces, we need to move the other back towards the frame to account for that difference. So we need to get rid of the extra gap that we were after introducing into the system. The easiest way to do that is simply to move one of the new bodies closer to the other one, and then when we've that done, all we need to do is combine the two bodies back into a single body. There's one last thing to fix. If we take a look at this side view, we can see that the frame doesn't actually reach the ground, so we need to remove that gap that we see on the frame side. I know on the fork side there is a larger gap, but again that's only due to an issue with the support material on the 3D printing, so we can get that sorted out without making changes to the design. In Fusion again, we go to the bar on the bottom, find the sketch that we used to create the frame, double click to open it up, and now we can adjust our dimensions. So we want to change the height, so we double click that dimension, adding 1.5 mils, or change it to 10, and you can see on the left here the fork, whatever reference was there for that, has not moved with the change we just made. So we need to fix the frames on either side first, and then the fork itself. So it's only a matter of selecting a point and referencing it to the relevant line or the relevant point. So that should be that sorted. and take a look at our frame. It looks pretty much the way we were hoping to get it. So that should be good for the next run in the 3D printer. And don't forget to hit the save button, that's nearly the most important step. Well, that's the design updated, so if you're enjoying the series, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get the bell on for notifications. And in the next video we might do something a little bit different. We might try and design a different accessory for our RC tractors, just to try and shake things up a little bit. We will at some point get round to testing out the new design, and we will be trying to print it at a different angle and things like that. There's been a couple of suggestions in the comments to try that out, so hopefully that will leave our print with less marks from the sport material. But that's all I have for today, so I hope you're enjoying the series, and if you are, don't forget to hit the like button, and as always, thanks very much for watching.